we welcome you to the Fence Comedy Debate.
Thank you all so much for coming along tonight to support this. Look, before we get into it, I really am sort of hyperventilating. Won't be a moment. Right. Before we get into it, I did just want to give you all a quick tip. Let's not muck around. It's nearly the weekend. Some of you might have a couple of drinks after the gig. You might get lucky. So I'm giving you a little tip that I got out of a women's magazine, so already we know it's going to be excellent. It was basically, the article was all about looking good if you go back to spend the night with someone. And it actually said that if in the middle of it all you need to go to the bathroom but you're too embarrassed to go naked, that you should try wrapping a sheet around yourself. But they suggested, and I swear to God, this is a word-for-word quote, try leaving one leg or one breast exposed in the same way that 18th century neoclassical painters and sculptors depicted women. I also like to remove both my arms. Yeah, that really raunchy Venus de Milo look happening. But look, of course, tonight it's serious business. We are here to debate whether Australia should erect a 50-foot fence around our territorial sea borders, complete with armed guards, to prove that we are serious about border security. Now, obviously, we'll be hearing from some incredibly well-informed intellectual powerhouses. Of course, I mean Akmal, Limo and Cal. And then a couple of bozos who, frankly, I don't know what they're doing here. Julian and Jesse, and then some guy that draws shit. Look, I'm your incredibly impartial moderator. You know, the really great news is you and I have all the power tonight. You know that. We decide what goes on here, which is great. Because I don't know about you guys, but I can be bought. I've actually got as much credibility as a Wilson security guard on Nauru claiming to have been assaulted by an asylum seeker. Wow.
They're going to need it.
We love you, Judith. I'm just presuming that's just how good that joke was. So, thank you. And yes, that's the level of, these are really beautiful. That was actually a really smart move. What am I getting from you guys?
That wasn't even, that wasn't from him, that was from Mick Fanning. You have to think about it.
Yeah, I am thinking about it, and it's not working.
It was a bit of a stretch there.
But look, are we here tonight to talk about a fence, or are we here to talk about Australia? This great brown land that I love. I love everything about it. I even love the way we speak. I love the way Australians understate the obvious. I was actually at an airport the other day, and you know, we're all standing around the luggage carousel watching the luggage go around, and this guy actually said, geez, you'd be pretty disappointed with that, wouldn't you? And it was just a handle with a tag going on.
Can you use that for fans? Yeah. I'm good.
You'll be pretty disappointed if you feel like you're just pissed off. But look, we are a great nation. I think we just fear change. In fact, I think the only kind of change that a lot of us are really comfortable with is the kind that involves putting on a different pair of underpants. And let's be frank, that's touch and go for some people. I actually went out with a gentleman who told me that he knew that he loved me when he started changing his underpants every day, as opposed to every third day. Be jealous.
It's true love.
That's just the incredible power I have over men. You know, I thought, oh, if he changes the bong water, wedding bells. But the wonderful Road to Refuge people actually gave me a task to perform for this opening monologue. I'm actually going to read it to you. They actually wrote it down on a piece of paper. They said, my job was to bring the audience into the comedic space. Are we there yet? Are you there yet? What's your name? You don't know where you are, do you? You don't know what space you're in. Now, what's your name?
Liz.
Liz. Hi, Liz. Are you in the comedic space yet?
I'm laughing a lot. So.
That's it. That's all we want. And look at all these young people we have here. How old are you? 24. What's your name? Julia, I've been doing this job longer than you've been alive. And just out of interest, Julia, do you have the slightest idea who I am? No, that's all right. That's all right. We're all getting to know each other, and that's tremendous. Actually, ladies, fun fact. Did you know that you can get peppermints, and yes, I mean that sort that freshen your breath, for downstairs? I swear to God, just look up Linger, the internal feminine flavouring system that will make you smell and taste like a candy cane. So, let that be a warning to the kids next Halloween. Next time a woman says trick or treat, you don't know what the hell she's offering. All right, if we're not in the comedic space by now, I'm afraid it's tough luck. But of course the organisers wanted me to try and do that because we all know that there's nothing funny about the way Australia is currently treating asylum seekers. And if you're anything like me, you've actually just stopped reading the news. I just go straight for the lifestyle section now. Saw a really great article recently. Article could be pushing it because it implies content. It was more like a page with words. And at the top, it said 30 things to feel totally okay about. And you'll be thrilled to know that one of the things you're allowed to feel totally okay about is going to the doctor when you're not feeling well.
Wow.
Phew, that's good news. Oh, last time I had gastro, I took myself off to barbecues galore, and that just wasted everybody's time. But it does seem like every day we read about a new legislation being passed that dehumanises refugees just that little bit more, or shrouds the whole process in some more secrecy, or we hear another horror story coming out of a detention centre. And if you're anything like me, it's really easy to be completely overwhelmed, to just feel like, okay, there's nothing I can do. So you just shut down, you don't talk about refugees, and you wind up not doing anything. And that's why tonight we want to talk about this topic in a completely ridiculous manner. Well, I think we all know that the reality can actually be pretty ridiculous. I loved it when Tony Abbott said on Q&A a while back now, Jesus knew that everything had its place, but it's not necessarily everyone's place to come to Australia. I think Jesus would have a lot to say about how we currently treat asylum seekers, such as it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for anyone who's detained children to enter the kingdom of heaven. And Peter Dutton's a dipshit. That's from a less well-known gospel. But so, we are going to talk about this stuff tonight in a completely over-the-top way, so we can have a bit of a laugh and start talking about these issues again and all go home tonight feeling like we can really do something. So thank you again for coming. Comedic space, comedic space, comedic space. And so, Australia should erect a 50-foot fence to prove that we are serious about border security. To kick this crazy night off, we're going to hear from the first speaker from the affirmative team, so I won't really be listening to them. Aren't these guys attractive? No, please welcome the wonderful Julian Burnside.